All right, here we go. The draft is coming up. Dolphins, they've done so much work this offseason. Obviously, it sucked seeing Wilkins go, Van Ginkel go, Hunt go. What are you going to say? It's not a good thing. You could debate whether we could have, we couldn't. But Chris Grier did a lot to bring in extra pieces to kind of make the best of whatever the situation was, whether you liked it or not. And so the Dolphins are here right now. They've got the 24 and 25 season, which is really kind of like a peak talent season. Maybe 26 if they can ace the 24 draft and the 25 draft. But this 24 season is going to take a good draft to keep pace with all the teams that have been going around in the AFC that are going to compete with the Dolphins. Dolphins kind of almost sort of squeaked in last year, and they've got to do more than that. And they have the ammo. We got to see who they get and then wait to see how those players play out, because there's guys that get drafted like, that sucks. And they turned out to be great. And some guys, that was a great draft. And it turned out to be sucked. So, yeah, we're going to see what happens. We're going to make our evaluations, but it's not really going to come to reality. But however you slice, I keep going over it. We need help. I think on a D-line, some people don't as much, but clearly the offensive line. And the reason is the offensive line will boost Tua, who's in a big year. He might have be the start of a long-term contract. He might be playing in his fifth-year option and playing for the big contract. I don't know. But then De'Von Achane is a huge pick in the third round. Kind of like Achilles, burned bright, but kind of short with all these injuries. But a offensive lineman, it doesn't have to be the first round. Out from 3 yards per carry has got me really hot and heavy on Christian Haynes. There's other guys out there. And even with our fifth and sixth, maybe you could find someone. If you could find someone in that fifth or sixth that comes in and plays and pushes for time and is a good backup and maybe even gets starting role and it adds to this, that would be unbelievable. But we certainly need one piece, because I'm going to go over Achan's 2023 season in a very, very big detail. I get called the offensive line channel, but the running back is my most beloved position. It's what I know. I played up to a semi-decent level, not high level, but semi-decent. I think I know running backs and the running back position more than anything else. And I would say offensive line next to that. And Achan is a stud. But this bulking up, this adding of size that we clearly see, I don't know, Omar Kelly doesn't think so, but yeah, he has. Now, he's not going to look that big come the season. That's going to burn off. When he starts running, practices and the sun hits him, it's going to burn a lot of that stuff. But some of it, you hope, stays. So maybe even get 50% of that. But he clearly looks bigger. And if you look at his 2023 season and you see that where he's kind of going with his size, and you hope that we add in that offensive lineman to boost Tua and to boost Achan, I think it would be unbelievable, because to me, Achan, this run game, this interior run game, it doesn't have to be all world. But if we can get some consistency out of that, it's going to open everything up. So I'm going to dig really, really, really deep into Achan and all the surrounding stuff. And you're going to see this kid had a phenomenal season, but then you got to understand some other things. And there's hopes, and then there's realities. But however you slice it, this kid getting bigger is going to help him stay healthier. It's going to help him run inside, and that's going to make him a complete back. And then that's going to be like nitro to this pass game if it indeed happens. But again, an offensive lineman, or even if Butch Barry raised the level of the guys that are here. I mean, maybe we don't draft them and we get, Butch Barry's raised the level, whatever you want to say. We've got to be able to run inside. If Achan can do it, his game steps up, Tua's game steps up, and we might get to where we got to go. Anyway, so I'm going to got a bunch of graphics and a bunch of stuff. Take a look at this one right here. All right, the first one, this is from Next Gen Stats. You see Achan, Team Miami at the top, and an EF efficiency. He was number one. Now, what that means is how much distance between him and the line of scrimmage. He was number one, which means he had the cleanest runs of anybody in the NFL. He didn't have to move. The holes were there. But a lot of that had to do with him running to the outside and then just hitting it. But that's different. That's different than inside. If you've ever run or you watch football, when you're outside, these running backs are seeing flashes of color, flashes of movement. And it's happening at one speed on the edges. But the closer you get inside, the more sudden and abrupt everything happens. And the flashes happen quicker, and there's more of them, and it's more dangerous. It's harder to run inside. And his clean runs to the outside is because he was mostly used on the outside. And when he hits it, he blows it open. But it was the easiest in a way for a few reasons. But still, even though it was the easiest, look what he did. Rush yards over expectancy, number 2. So he had this clean run to the edge, but he still was number 2 in efficiency. Okay, over efficiency. And then run over efficiency percentage, he was number 1. So on the edge, in space, he had his clean runs, and when he had it, he did the best just about in the NFL. And that's amazing. But there's another thing why his getting bigger, our ability to block inside, his ability to run inside is going to help Tua this passing game, but even more, and you'll see as I break it down, his career. Now, you see 8+ D%. How many times did he see 8 guys in the box? He was the 6th least at 11.65%. And it goes back to what I was saying, that the Ds and the defensive coordinators, they know our menu. Edge passes, edge runs, pocket posts, some deeps, and maybe some outs. And they play that, and they don't play to run, despite the unbelievable and gaudy numbers that this kid had, because they know he's dangerous, but they can set their defenses up to kind of guard the pass. And hey, if he pops one, that's fine, but he's not going to get us consistently. He's not going to get us inside where we have to box inside, which opens everything up. But you'll see some other interesting stuff. As he had success inside, some of his biggest games happened because once you box guys inside, you get them creeping inside and focusing inside. That leaves the edges open. It opens everything up. Balance is key. So obviously we know the injuries. There's a site, something, whatever, betting something. It's got basically Achan's injury history. He is a medium risk. They anticipate 55% chance he is injured this season. Chances per game, 4.6%. Projected games missed, 2.5, which is not a killer because his durability, 5-0. Don't get higher than that. When I saw Achan get hurt in that Giants game and walk off under his own power after what happened to him, I had more respect for him than I ever thought I would have. When you're a running back, durability is obviously huge. But toughness, your courage, your physical toughness, your ability to endure pain, that's the number 1 attribute, then durability, and then you start getting down it because you've got to be available. You've got to be able to put your nose into the buzzsaw again and again to dull the blade until you finally beat it and make those pops. You break that defense. And that's what Mostert does. So Achan's got the toughness, but he was 180 pounds. That is too much. There's so many things that can go on. I can talk about that for half an hour. But this kid, with his speed, is clearly elite. But he's got to be able to hit it inside. And the bulking up is going to allow him to put that nose in the buzzsaw a little bit more and come out not beat up. And it's going to help him deliver blows. And, again, it's not like he's going to go from 180 to 200. He might end up being 190 this year, 180, 8. And then next year, he gets a little bit bigger. And when he shaves some of it down, maybe in a year or 2 or 3, he could be up to that 200. Look at Mostert. He went up to 220, and look how well he did this season. And if you look at his numbers, it was because he was able to put his nose in the buzzsaw, run inside, and then pop it out. And then teams would focus inside, and then we'd hit the outside. Achan can do this. He will be unbelievable. Now, you can see the injuries here, pedal foot, shoulder, AC joint sprain, MCL sprain grade 2. These are not good injuries, but they're not devastating. And we've got to hope that he can get this together because he's going to be good no matter what. But if this kid can become a 14 to 20 carry, if you include runs in there, touches, he's going to be unbelievable. We need him at all levels, but we need him to get a few more touches per game and need to be around for the long term. So anyway, I just want to look at that. Now, here is next-gen stats, and you can see a week 3, and look at all those inside runs. Then look at those outside. There's one big run inside. That was his biggest day, 18 for 23, because he was affecting every area of the field. And then you go week 4, 8 for 101. There was a few inside, but you could see they kind of get limited a little bit more. And then you had the big one to the edge. And then you could see week 5, it was mostly to the edge, and it was stymied inside, not too many attempts inside. Then week 13, he had one nice run inside, but everything kind of got a little curtailed, 17 for 73, not his best day. And then you could see week 17, all to the edge, most of the stuff inside. You saw some stops, you saw some short runs on the inside. And then week 18, 10 for 56, all edge stuff, stops behind the line and inside. But it's not his fault. And I'm going to show you his numbers to show you how special the kid is, but also to show you how the offensive line makes the NFL world go around. If we can get this, we get just a little bit of help, this kid will be unbelievable. Now, you can see him and Mostert here. He had only 108 attempts, 217 for Mostert. Only one fumble compared to 4 for Mostert. You see the Gordy numbers in the blue. You can see yards after contact, 4.94, 3.35 for Mostert. A lot of that is because he's running inside. Both these guys had unbelievable seasons. Missed forced tackles, 30 by Achan, 53. So he outpaced because he had 50% of the carries, but he had over 50% of missed tackles. So he did really well. Long 76. 10 plus, 22 with 50% of the carries. That is incredible. 15 plus yard runs, 13. So 31 first downs. This kid obviously has got the speed on edge, do all that stuff. We could do all that. But he's going to add this weight. And it's going to lower his speed slightly, but it doesn't matter because if he can be more effective inside, we can block better, he can run better. He might even do better than this, even if he's just a little bit slower, as long as he could take that nose in the buzzsaw. Now, look at rushing direction, okay? So this is the team's rushing directions. I've done this before, and you see the orange box, that's inside runs, and you can see yards per attempt, 6.6, 5.2, 5.9, 4.4, 4.1, 4.1 at the right tackle, all look really good. But now yards per contact, after contact, 4.56, 3.83, 3.48, 3.26, and you minus that from the yards per attempt, and then your yards before contact is 1.04, 1.37, 2.42, and 1.14. And that shows how little the offensive line was doing and how much these backs were doing. And I want to get into it, dial it in to Achan to show you that this kid, if you give him yards before contact inside, and he can build himself up and pick his way through without getting blasted early, it's going to open everything up. This whole offense can go to a whole nother level. Now, this is the most critical one. I'll get into a second. But guys, the likes, the subscribes, the comments, the views, all that stuff keeps me in business, guys. So please like, subscribe, comment. If you're subscribed, hit the notification bell. It really helps. My sponsors, they keep me in business because of that stuff. So if you guys could do that for me, it would be great. Keep me doing the thing I love, which is this. I love studying football. So I want to give you guys a shout out and a shout out to Ace Bread, my sponsor, for all you do. Because without two of you, this show ain't going down. Ace Per Head's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. All right, so this last graphic here is going to pull it all together, and you're going to see if this kid can get some blocking inside. It would be stupendous. But he had problems. You can go look at his performances. And you'll see very rarely did he have a full complement of an offensive line. Connor's not going to be here. Hunt's not going to be here. We got Brewer. Maybe Wynn steps up. Maybe Eichenberg steps up. Maybe we get some guys. But if we can get that, you're going to see how good this kid is. So this is De'Von Achane's run allocation and how successful it was. So you can see on the left side, DIR, direction, left tackle, left guard, middle left, middle right. That's like center. The center's here, and it's here, left or right. Right guard, right tackle. And you look at the yards and you look, okay, there's not a lot of attempts by him, but you look at the yards per attempt, 4.3, 8.9, 8.0, 3.8, not so hot, 8.3, 4.7. Now, if you take away his chunk runs, okay, now it's great having chunk runs. If you've watched Barry Sanders, you saw how awesome he was. Those big runs, lifts, everything's like, whoa, but it's the consistency. Emmett would chunk away at you in 4, 5, and 6, and then he'd break the 15 and maybe the 30, but it mostly was those 4, 5, 6 runs, and it was way more brutal. The consistent pounding, the consistent beating, it would force guys to step up because one big run is not changing the way a defense is playing. It's the consistent and it's the inside stuff that really does it. And you can see his yards before contact, 7 yards, 5.8 in the orange, 2.23, 5.67. You can see on the one, the right guard, he had 2 big runs for 51. I'll get into that in a second. But look at the yards per attempt when you factor out the big runs. Again, it's consistency. We got the big plays on offense with the receiving game. We get the big plays rushing outside and some of the inside. But when you get a negative play or an off-schedule play, all of a sudden your offense is in 2nd and long and 3rd and long, and the whole drive breaks down. And then sometimes you even lose field positioning. And so, yeah, it's great having this big play stuff, but you need more consistency. And I think we've done a lot to help with that, but the run game consistency is more critical, in my opinion. So yards per attempt, when you factor out the big runs by Achan, 1.8 per rush in left tackle, 3.1 left guard, middle left, 2.4 middle right, 3.1. Now, right guard is 5.5. I didn't know what the other run was. It was a big run of 25. So it's 51 yards after contact. But if you pull that 51 yards out after contact, we had 24 carries on 7, which is like 3 point something, which is not hot to trot. And then 3.4 again, right tackle. And that is not enough to get teams to commit, to get them to cheat up, to get the linebackers to beat up, to open up those pocket posts, to get the guys pinched inside when you're on crack seal, and then you get the big plays on the outside. Defenses, they all play edge, they all play back, and until we can get consistency inside, and it's not his fault, it's not Mostert's fault, they carried this run game, they broke tackles, they did all kinds of stuff way above expectation. It's the job of the offensive line to beat guys down, to do better than this. And if they do, and you add that kind of production, along with all these other tools, Tua is going to have less 4-man rushes and 7 guys dropping. He's going to have less off coverage. He's going to have guys come up. He's going to see bigger fronts, which means he's going to have the speed edge when he throws the football. And more importantly, if Achan can run inside, linebackers are going to snap the ball. They're going to pause a second, and they're going to worry about that inside. And a slight pause by that linebacker or that safety in the box when he does get it means they're going to be a hair behind him when he bolts to the edge. And that hair behind, as we've seen, could be all the difference. And so it's this inside stuff to give this kid, to give Mostert the chance is going to be key. This kid had a phenomenal season. In some ways, he had the easiest because they really weren't focusing on the run. And he had the quickest run to the edge as far as the cleanest runs to his hole. But it was also very difficult because that kind of blocking is not conducive, especially for a fast, smaller, young running back. If this elevates, his health elevates, I expect huge things from this kid. And he is an amazing player, tough as nails. And I hope that we can help him and this offense out, even with guys stepping up or an addition of, say, Haynes or somebody late in that 5th or 6th round, hopefully not, or something to that effect, free agent. Get ourselves some yards before contact, and we can go where we want to go. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. This draft is big. We need an offensive lineman. If not in this draft, then certainly when Xavier Moniz comes free, somebody big in free agency. Doesn't have to be the greatest, but somebody to lift this unit up. Anyway, Curtis saying thanks for stopping by. Catch you next time. Curtis out. Start building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.